Alright guys, we're going to start right away. Now, today we actually going to be multiplying matrices. Make sure that's the title. Like right there, that's the title. Don't forget to put your name, your date, your period. Now you're going to be doing S and T. Now for today, we're actually going to be doing notes. So go ahead and put notes over here. And that's where we're going to start. We're going to be writing a couple notes right below it. Now, whenever you multiply matrices, there's going to be a couple rules that you need to understand. And this videos are going to try and cover it as fast as possible. You're going to be able to see that you got matrix A, which is this guy right here. And then you have matrix B, which is this guy. And then you get a combination of A and B. Alright? Pretty self-explanatory. Now let's look at the dimensions of each. If you see the first one, you're going to notice that you're going to have it 2 by 2. If you look at the second one, you're going to notice that you have a 2 by 1. Now the final one, you're going to notice that's a 2 by 1 too. But how do we know that, right? I already know that's going to be how my answer is going to look. But you guys don't. So let's go ahead and go back a little bit and look at my dimensions again. Now, I want you guys to look at these two guys right here. Let me go back. Yes, this guy right there. And you're going to go ahead and look at this. Oh, look at this guy too. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color them this color right here. Look at those guys right down there. Now, every time that you're doing matrices, I want you guys to set it up this way, because that was going to make it a lot easier for you guys to solve your problems. So I want you guys to write your first matrix times your second matrix on the top, and then equals your last matrix. Now, always write your dimensions on the bottom. What that's going to do is going to allow you to see a couple things. Now, if you did it like the way I did, so make sure you copy this down in your notes, you're going to notice that what two numbers do I have in the middle? Like right below, they're right next to each other. Those two numbers are going to be what? Equal to each other. So, whenever your numbers, and whenever you set it up this way, whenever you put your dimensions times your dimensions, if the two numbers in the center, they're equal to each other, you can multiply. So this is a yes. You can multiply with that. But you might be confused. What do you mean? All right, let's look at the other. You see my matrices? I'm going to go ahead and write the other matrix the other way around. Let's see if we can multiply B times A. So this is B. I'm going to multiply by A, which is 2, 3, and 4. And this is going to be A. And then we're supposed to be getting BA, right? Because we're multiplying. But now, whenever you multiply matrices, there's a big difference. It matters the order that you multiply them in. For example, what is my dimensions for this one? 2, 1. And for this one, it's going to be 2 and 2. Now, again, I want you guys to look at the two numbers in the middle now that I have written it like this. So I'm going to highlight them with blue. So, are my numbers equal? No, my numbers are not equal, meaning that I cannot multiply. Okay? That's the first rule. Your first two numbers, like this one and this one, they have to equal to each other, or else you won't be able to multiply. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the entire bottom section because we don't need it anymore. It's all gone. Alright, can we multiply the top one? Yes, we can, because both of my two numbers on the inside are equal to each other. Now, another thing that whenever you can multiply together, I want you guys to look at your numbers on the outside. So in this case, it's going to be your 1 and your 2. And what you're going to be able to do with those two numbers, you're going to be able to know your final answer. You see the 2? Is going to go right here, and the 1 is going to go right here. So the two numbers in the outside, whenever you can multiply them together, they're going to give you your final matrix, which is going to be a 2 by 1. Okay, that's all you need to know for how to multiply matrices. Now let's go ahead and learn how to actually multiply. So if you remember, you always go one. You need to know how you go in order whenever you multiply, right? This is one, matrix one, or this is row one, row two, and I'm gonna delete my A and my B for right now, just so you guys can see what's going on. This is gonna be 1 and 2. Over here, same thing. I'm gonna have 1, and I'm gonna have 1 and 2. I should have done a different color, but actually, yeah, let me go ahead and do a different color so you guys can see the difference. I'm gonna have to delete those again. There we go. And I'm gonna go and pick 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And I'm gonna do this 1. Oh, should have done that one. 1, 2, 1. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of things up there. Now, just to make it simpler, I'm gonna erase everything in the bottom. We don't need it. All we need to know is learn how to multiply in order. So you're gonna start with the first one. For your first matrix, this one right here, we're going to start with that one. And we're going to start in column 1, row 1. So we're going to start with this one right here. I want you guys to go ahead, write 1 times. And what's the first number that comes up on the other one? It's going to be 1, 1. There you go. So what is times 1? Or what is times 1? What is 1 times 1? It's going to be 1. That's it. That's how you multiply the first number. Now, let's go back. And now I'm going to do row 1, but column 2. Gonna do this guy over here. And on the other side, I'm gonna do, obviously, I'm gonna do row 2, but column 1. So what is 1 times 2? Oh, no, actually, I'm wrong. What is 2 times 2? What is 2 times 2? 2 times 2 is going to be 4. Alright. Now, what am I going to do with those two numbers? I'm going to go ahead and multiply. So, not multiply. I'm going to go ahead and add them. So, what's 1 plus 4? 1 plus 4 is 5. So that's going to be my first number. Now, you might be asking yourself, what the heck are you doing right now? Well, I'm going to do my 2 matrices over here on the side, and I'm going to show you exactly the directions that I'm going with each. The way that we're doing this, we're moving, for the first matrix, you're going to move your columns first, or your rows. You're going to move in your row section. And if you notice, for my second matrix, I am just going basically down with my columns. That's how I'm multiplying. Now, the second way that I'm going to do it, I'm already going to show you how to do the second one, because we're going to have to deal with the example that's on the book. It might take us a little bit, but hopefully we can move through it. I'm going to be moving the same way. But now, instead of starting with the row 1, I'm going to start with row 2. And for my second matrix, I'm going to go exactly the same way. Okay, that's basically what I did. I move to the right on row 1 for the first matrix, and I was going down from the top to the bottom of my second matrix. Now let's do the same thing for the second one. Now I'm going to start right here. And I'm going to start right here for that one. Okay. Let me color it differently just so you guys can see exactly what I'm saying. That one, then that one. You see it, right? That's exactly the same thing that I'm doing right here. I'm starting at the top, on the bottom, from left to right. And on the other one, I'm starting from top to bottom. And that's how you're gonna multiply every time that you have something like this. You always go row, and then you go down columns. Row, down columns. Row, down columns. Sometimes you're gonna have to do it multiple times depending on what type of problem you have. But in this case, let's just worry like this, because this is gonna be exactly how like the book has it. So let's go back. So what is 3 times 1? 3 times 1 is 3. And now we gotta do the second one, which I'm gonna do 4, and I'm gonna do 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add both of those numbers, and what do I get? 11. So my answer for the second one is gonna be 5 over 11, and that's the matrix. Okay, so that's multiply. I know it's a lot. So for this one, I just kind of want you guys to stop right there, and then the next 2 videos, hopefully they're a little faster, because we're going to be doing inverses, so we need to understand how to multiply. And secondly, we're going to be doing one of the problems here on the book. So actually, I'm actually going to go ahead and continue, just because I don't want to separate this and the actual problem on the book. So I'm going to erase everything already, so make sure you copy it. So we're going to go all the way up, and we're actually going to try and do this stuff right here. So I'm going to go and read it. So Coach Tirones team is at their first track meet. The finishing places and the number of medals earned for 4 of her sprinters are displayed in the matrix. So this is the matrix that they're showing us. So matrix A is just going to be showing us the places that the sprinters actually got. So now matrix B is going to be the points that are awarded according to the scoring of the matrix. Okay. So let's go back. I read that all wrong. So there was this track meet. They did races. So this is the runners, and this is the places that they got. Now, according to what place they made, this is the points that they get for whatever place they make it on. Okay? So now we're going to have to go ahead and multiply this too, guys. We're going to have to go ahead and multiply those two. So I'm actually going to write my So we should already know how to multiply this. So I want you guys to write this down. And what we're going to be doing, A times B is equal to, AB. So in other words, we're going to be multiplying both of my matrices. So copy that down. This is going to be the actual problem that I want you guys to try and do. Now, go ahead and try and do it yourself. I want to see if you guys can do it. If you guys can do this, then you guys can probably do any problem that requires multiplying matrices. Now, setting it up, it should be easy. You're just writing them next to each other. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and help you guys with just writing it next to each other. So I'm going to have the first, which is going to be 0. I'm going to have to make it bigger. It's a lot of numbers. 2, then we have 1, 2, 1, 1. Then we have 0, 0, 3, 0. Then we have 0, 1, 1, 1. Then we have 0. Oh my god, I should have done this somewhere else. Oh my god. Me and me and me. Okay. Gotta do it down here. But still make sure you just write all of your numbers. Okay, perfect. Now for the other one, it's just kind of nice. It's kind of smaller, so I'm just going to do 10, 8, 'kay, let me erase it a little. So it's going to be 10, 8, 6, 4, 5. Alright, I'm going to be multiplying those. This is A, this is B, and we need to get C. Or what C? We need to get AB. Alright, that's as far as I want you guys to. That's as far I'm actually going to help you guys. From here now, you're going to try and do the problem by yourself. You're going to come back, and then we're going to go over it. Okay, you should be already done with looking at the problem, trying to figure out by yourself. At this point, all I'm going to do is just show you what I would do. So first of all, we need to figure out the dimensions of the original matrix that they gave us. So I'm going to count how many rows I have, and I'm going to go ahead and label them. So I'm going to have 1, I'm going to have 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to count how many columns I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the second one, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then columns is just 1. Okay, that's the first thing I want you guys to look at. And that's what's going to tell us how we're going to be doing the problem. Now let's go back. So I can tell this one's going to be a 4 by 5. And this one is going to be a 5 by 1. Now again, like I mentioned before and multiple times before, you're going to be looking at the two numbers that are in the inside. You're going to notice that both of those numbers are equal to each other. So yes, we can multiply. Now my solution is going to be my two numbers on the outside. It's going to be this guy right here and this guy right here. So I can already start setting up my matrix for my answer. So I'm going to go ahead, do my little thing right here, do my little thing right here, and it's going to be, how many are we going to have? We're going to have 4. So it's going to be N, 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 and N, right? Because we're going to have 4. Right, because we need to have 4 rows and 1 column. Okay, that's going to be how my answer is going to look. Now, let's go and actually try and do the multiplication, because that's going to be the hardest part for most of you. So let's start with the first one. If you remember, we're going to be going this way. And for the second one, we're going to be going down. And then we're going to do this way. And then we're going to go down a second time. Then we're going to do it again. Then we're going to go down another time. And finally, we're going to do it one last time. And then we're going to go down one last time. So as you can see, it's not so hard. It's just, it's going to take quite a while to do every single one. So let's do the first one. I'm going to do 3 times 10. So the first one's going to be 3 times 10. Alright, which is 30. Now the second one is going to be 1 times 8. Which is going to be what? 8. Now the other ones is going to be 0 times 6, 0 times 4, 0 times 2. Which all of those are going to equal to 0. Now, whenever I add her final score is going to be 38 points. And that's going to be, guess what? That's going to be my answer for the first one right here. Boop. I'm going to make this smaller because erase everything. Our first score is going to be 38. Now we just need to figure the other two. So now I'm going to go to row number 2, which is that's person number 2. I'm going to make a line right here, and I'm going to go ahead and start it. So it's going to be 0 times 10. Then it's going to be 2 times 8. It's going to be 0 times 6. It's going to be 1 times 4. And finally, it's going to be 2 times 2. Alright, that's all the points and all the races that she did. So now we just have to figure out what it is. 0 times 10 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. 0 times 6 is 0. Now, what is 1 times 4 is 4. And 2 times 4 is 2 times 2 is 4. Oh my god, I can't always do that. I don't know why I always do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply everything together, which is 16 plus 4 is 20. This is going to be 24 points. That's the second person that went up. Okay, so second person, it's going to be 24 points. And I know it's a lot confusing, but I mean, matrices are not easy. And they really are not easy. So if you're really confused, don't worry about it. Just try and follow along, because I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep multiplying. Hopefully, eventually, you'll be like, okay, I can see what you're doing. So I know this video has been the longest, but this is the hardest topic. Next one, hopefully, I can make it shorter. Man, this one, it is the longest because it is the hardest thing. Now, I'm going to do the third person, which is, I'm going to start right here. I'm going to put 0 times 10. Then it's going to be 1 times 8. Then it's going to be 3 times 6. Then it's going to be 4. No, I did it wrong. See, even I get confused. 1 times 4. And then it's going to be 2 times 2. So now you're going to notice I'm going to go ahead, multiply. So 0, 8. This is, I believe is, can't even do math. 18, 4, and 4. So I'm going to go ahead and add this 2. So that's going to be what? 26. 26 plus 4 is 30. 30 plus 4 is 34 points. Now the final now we just have to figure out the final person. So let's go ahead, look at the values for it. So we're going to do 2 times 10. Then it's going to be 1 times 8. Then it's going to be 0 times 6. then it's going to be 1 times 4, then it's going to be 1 times 2, if I'm correct. Yes. So this is what we have, right? Now we just need to add them all up or multiply them. So this is 20, this is 8, this is 0, this is 4, and this is 2. So now for this person, you're going to have this and this. 28, 28, that'll be 32, 34, right? So this person got the same amount of points as the previous one. 34 points. So the final person is going to be 34. And that's going to be your answer for the entire thing. Now, who won? It obviously was the first person, which first person was Lauren. Lauren got the most points, and she would be the one who would win. And that's literally all it takes. I know it takes a lot of time. It took us a lot of time to do all of this. But this is how you multiply matrices. Okay? And remember, I'm going to highlight it once more. Just in case you forgot. You go this way on the first matrix. And on the second matrix, you go down. Okay? Just keep that in mind. You go left, down every time. And that's it. I know this one was very long. Obviously, it was very long because of the type of information was in there. So if you watched the whole thing, I appreciate it. I know it took a while. So next one should not be this long. It definitely should not be this long. All right. So I'll see you guys next time.